I'm saying to you today that there are some of you, if you give up your cell phone, you would be successful. But your cell phone is more important to you than your success.
Change your mind and it will change your life. If nothing around you changes, change the things that are around you.
You were born with everything you need to pass every class with flying colors.
This is your time. This is your moment. This is your destiny. So stop wasting time.
The one commodity that is most valuable on this earth is time. Time to love, time to live. From the moment the human body is born, it begins dying. I don't think you quite caught that. Let me say it again. From the moment the human body is born, it begins dying. Some happen faster, some happen slower. Some of us help them go faster, and some of them prevent it from happening sooner than later. How many seconds, how many minutes do we waste every day doing things that are nowhere near the goals and aspirations and passions that we have inside? How many times do you go through the course of a day and realize, did I do anything I set out to do today? Write down those goals each and every day. No matter if it's 2 goals a day, if you can accomplish those, then you're doing more than just making it through the day. You are living and achieving your dreams. Find time to better yourself, read, explore, research, live life, do things you've never thought of doing before. That's what it's all about. When you're born, that's that date that they put on the left side of the tombstone. When you die, they put another date on the right side of the tombstone. But that dash in the middle is the most important thing on that tombstone. That is a line that throughout that entire time frame, you were able to impact and touch others' lives. You were able to leave your mark on this earth. You were able to build a legacy that nobody could change. You were able to have it to where people remembered who you are no matter what. When you're living for that dash in the middle, you're going to remember your why. Your why you're here. Not the why did you do something. Your why, your reason for getting up in the morning, your reason for pushing yourself past the brink of exertion and giving up. Your reason for moving on and getting things done in life. That dash in the middle, that's the thing that pushes you.
How do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of your physical appearance, in terms of your health? Do you take care of yourself? Are you allowing yourself to get overweight and out of shape? Are you conscious of your health? Are you watching the food that you take into your body? Do you make a deliberate effort to exercise? You know, it was George Burns, he said, we cannot help getting older, but we don't have to get old. And many of us get old before our time because we don't take time to take care of ourselves. Your environment is a very good indicator. On a scale of 1 to 10, is it what you want it to be? Do you find it desirable? Are you satisfied? The job or career that you're involved in. Someone said that 85% of the American public are unhappy with their jobs. Are you spending 8 hours a day just doing time? Doing something that you don't find challenging, that does not make you stretch mentally, that does not stimulate you, that does not inspire you. Something that you don't find a sense of fulfillment in it. If you're doing that day in and day out, it has to affect how you feel about yourself, your level of motivation. Your relationships. What kind of impact is it having on your life? Is it nourishing or is it a toxic relationship? Does it drain you or does it build you up? Ask yourself that. How motivated are you to do something about it? Your contribution, your actions. What are you giving? Many people will leave the universe without a trace. No one will know they were here. And in fact, under their name, we could put under there, not used up. Will anybody know that you came this way? What contribution are you giving? What will you leave? What will be different because you came this way?
Just stop for a second. Write down your why. What are you doing this for in life? If your why doesn't make you cry, then that's not your why. Again, if your why doesn't make you cry, then that's not your why. Your why should be something so big that it moves your family tree. Your why should be something so big that it changes the whole outlook on how things are with you and your home, your family, your religion, your purpose. Think about your passion. Think about your opportunities. And that's how you find your purpose. OPP. When that why meets up with your passion, your opportunity, and your purpose, then you'll find out. The most important day in your life is the day you remember why you were born.
Most of you won't be successful because when you're studying and you get tired, you quit. And I'm here to tell you today, if you got somebody came in my office the other day crying. I said, look, don't cry to give up, cry to keep going. Don't cry to quit. You already in pain, you already hurt, get a reward from it. Don't go to sleep until you succeed. Listen to me. I'm here to tell you today that you can come here, you can jump up, you can do flips, you can be excited when we give away money. But listen to me, you'll never be successful until I don't have to give you a dime to do what you do. You won't be successful until you say, I don't need that money, because I got it in here. So if you want to make 6 figures, you can't just be talking about you want to make 6 figures. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you got to want it. You got to go days without, listen to me, you got to want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat. So listen to me. Emmett Smith said this at the end of the commercial. Emmett Smith said, all men are created equal. Some work harder in preseason. I'm going to say it again because you might have missed it. All men are created equal. Some work harder in preseason. So that means that there are some people who are going to see the professor, going to see the TA. And even when the professor says, I don't meet with you, my TA meets with you, you say, I don't want to talk to your TA. I don't pay the TA. I pay you to teach me. So you're going to have to find some time to meet me. If I got to meet you at the mall, if I got to meet you at your house, you are going to see me. Listen to me. All men are created equal. Some work hard in preseason. When I went to college, guys were way smarter than me. 4.0s, 3.0s. They went to the Ivy League high schools, came to Oakwood from these great high schools. Most of them are not doing what I'm doing. Why? Because it's not about where you come from. It's about heart. You come to a place where, being smart ain't enough. You got to have heart. That's number one. Watch number two. Number two, catch number two. I wrote it down. I wanted to make sure you got it. It says to be, watch this. We're talking about sacrifice now. The important thing is this. You're writing while I'm saying it, because I only have about 3 more minutes. Listen to me. The most important thing is this: to be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become. That's the number 2 thing. You got to catch that one. To be able to, listen to me, at any moment. Some of you can make sacrifices when Monday Night Football is not on. You can make a sacrifice. But when the game come on, for some reason, you just attach to it. For some of you, when your favorite show come on, you can make sacrifices on Sunday when ain't nothing going on. But when your favorite show comes on Monday, bam, some of you focus until the phone ring, and then you like, I gotta answer it. If I don't answer the phone, I'm gonna die. I'm saying to you today that there are some of you, if you give up your cell phone, you would be successful. But your cell phone is more important to you than your success. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna hurt somebody. I'm gonna hurt somebody. Some of you need to give up your cell phone because the time you spend on your cell phone could be used for your success. The time you could be using to be successful, you're using it on the cell. And the cell phone is not bringing you nothing but a bill. And somebody has told you you couldn't live without it. I'm talking about going deep now, giving up stuff. Watch what it says. To be able at any moment to sacrifice what we are for what we could be. I don't do well in math. You're right. You ain't never studied. I'm not good in writing because you have never written before. But I dare you to fail in writing for a whole year to see if you can get to the end. I dare you to fail. I dare you to take that same class over and over again. I dare you to stop dropping classes like you soft. Always want to give up. I'm dropping. Why are you dropping? I'm so grateful that the slaves didn't drop and quit. Say, I'm just going to stop. I'm a slave. I'm just going to be a slave. I'm going to quit. Listen to me. The slaves said, we will live because one day we will become.
You have to schedule your time. Don't just stuff studying into cracks in your schedule. Your schedule should be built around studying. What does this mean? This means have an exact set time during the day when you start to study. For me, I remember it was about 6 p.m. I would always say to myself, okay, 6 p.m., I get back from school, I rest a little bit, and then at 6 p.m., that's my study time. It starts. How long does it go? Well, that depends on how much assignments and homework I have, but it would go for at least an hour or two, and sometimes it would go for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. And it would start at 6, and you would usually end like around 9 or 10 or after that. And it would vary. But I think what's really important is to have that starting time. 6, no matter what, 6. Sit down and study. Open the books, sit down, study. It doesn't have to be 6 for you, just come up with your own time. And you're doing this every single day. What's important about this is that it leads us to the next point, which is you have to get comfortable and you have to slow yourself down in order to study effectively. You can't rush the studying process. And one of the secrets that I use is simply brute force, right? A lot of the issues as a student that I dealt with, the things that I couldn't understand, I just brute forced them through repetition. And this repetition can take time. Also, you have to be patient with yourself. Sometimes you're not going to understand the problem right off the bat. So you just kind of repeat it, mull it over, and that means sometimes it takes you longer. So instead of finishing a quick little math assignment in an hour, it might take you 3 hours. But that's worth it if you calm yourself down, get comfortable, slow yourself down, kind of open yourself to absorbing this information, right? This is where the love of it comes in. If you don't love it and what you're doing is you're just kind of rush studying through stuff just to learn it, like cramming for an exam, that's just horrible. That's horrible because all you're trying to do is you're like a dog jumping through hoops. That's basically what you are when you're doing that. Because you're saying to yourself, well, I got to pass this exam in order to get into college, to get good grades so my parents like me. That's just hoops like a dog you're jumping through. Don't do that. Instead, what you think about is like this. Okay, this subject matter is really fascinating. Let me study more. Let me learn more. I want to know how math interconnects with history, and I want to know how history interconnects with science, and I want to know how this and this connect, and I want to know more depth about this thing here. That's how you got to think.
I don't think there's any magic in being successful. And I'm not talking about making $1 million or $1 billion. I'm just talking about being successful. I'm talking about being successful in what you guys do at work. I don't think there's any magic. You got to work hard. Yeah. You got to respect the people around you, and you just got to go. I've never met a successful person that doesn't work hard.
There are 2 rules that I always adhere to, and that is to work hard and be brave. And I think the essence of hard work is one that's pretty straightforward, is that you'll never be the best looking, you'll never be the tallest, most talented, most capable, you'll never have the most money. There will always be someone who's better at whatever you're doing than you are. But you can always be the hardest working person in the room. And I think the hardest working person will always win.
Who must you become in order to create what you want? What has to change about you? What is it that you're doing right now that would be a liability for you? As you begin to look toward the future, and take inventory of yourself. What is it about you right now that you've got to leave this behind because this no longer fits? Looking at where you want to go and the kind of person that you must become, the kind of standards that you have for you. What is it that you must do differently?
Your mind of all distractions. I used to hold the record for the fastest to memorize a deck of cards in the United States. And sometimes before I would memorize a deck of cards, my brain would be worried about things in my life or things that were going on. So what I would do to clear my mind of all distractions is I would close my eyes and I would visualize those scenarios the way that I wish they were or the way that I hope they would be one day. And then I would open my eyes, I would be relieved of that stress, and then I would memorize a deck of cards. Clear your mind of all distractions. Maybe close your eyes and visualize the things the way you wish they could be, and then focus on your studying.
Depending upon how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hot up we had just one computer, so the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard, like I mean, every waking hour. That's the thing I would say particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, you say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company.
If you want to learn something faster, you must first and foremost know the connection between what you want to learn and your dream life. Your real lifestyle that you want to have. I tell people all the time, like, don't just come up with things you want to learn, because guess what? We want to learn everything. By human build, we are curious animals. We're deathly curious. I mean, we are literally the curiosity killed the cat sort of society right now. Everyone wants to learn 50 new things immediately, but no one ever learns anything. Why? Because it's not real for them. It's a transient desire. If you want to become a great learner, it has to be attached to a dream life of yours. A true lifestyle that you see for yourself.
We have control of our minute, our hour, our day, our week, our month, and our year. Stop running around being on the receiving end of whatever people want to dump on you. You showed up. You accepted that invite. You invited these people to your house. You're in a relationship with that man. You're in a relationship with that woman. That's you. So how do you feel at the end of your night? How easy and how convenient is it for us to blame everything and everybody for the things that we have going on in our lives? There is a such thing as you being a positive and a great person with the best of intentions towards everybody. And shit is rough and you just can't get a break. But most of you are waking up every day looking for pain, dysfunction, drama, unemployment, being broke, struggling, dropping every excuse in the book about your childhood and the problems and dysfunction that you grew up in that's stopping you from becoming successful. You don't like your friends, so why are you still with them? You don't trust your managers, agents, and lawyers, so why are they still there? Do you really expect your life and career to be any different from messing with the same things, people, and situations? That's all I'm saying.
The hard part is getting over it in the beginning. 3 weeks, it's a habit. It will be ingrained in your central nervous system if you do this every day for 3 weeks. Studies show this. The first hardest part are the first 5 days. Once you do that, once you get over that, things become really much easier for you. And then you're on this path towards greatness. The anxiety goes away, the fear goes away, the stress goes away. The hardest part about getting a ship moving is the beginning. That's where, like,
the NASA shuttles. The most fuel is used in that launch. That's where the most energy and effort is required. And we get caught up in the trap thinking that that's the energy required and the effort required throughout the entire process. And that's not the truth. You will adapt. It will be easier for you. But it's a matter of getting over that fear in the beginning to then get to that point where it's ingrained in your central nervous system. Then you're on autopilot. Like if you ever wrote a paper for school before and it's really hard in the beginning, you procrastinate, and you just put it off. And then it's like the night before or something that it's due, and then you just like sit yourself down and do it. And the first 15 minutes, it's like writer's block, it's hard. And then you break through. And then it's like you're on autopilot after a while. And it's like, where are these thoughts coming? It's just unbelievable how the brain works. And you're like, you're writing a million miles a minute. It's like thoughts that you never even thought of before are just coming out. I know this has happened to you. And then you have to almost pull yourself away because you have to go to bed to get some sleep because you're just like on this path. And that's how life is. Once you get involved in something, it just goes on autopilot to where you start thinking of like really elaborate stuff, higher level stuff that beginner people who are outside do not experience, So from the outside, they look at these successful people and they're like, how do they do this? I don't understand how they're able to do this. And of course you don't, because you never immerse yourself in that process. But once you immerse yourself in that process, you could do it too. They are not made of something different, as different as you think they are. They're flesh and blood like you. But life is more about conditioning and habitual routines and stepping outside this comfort zone than it is about genetics. You have a genetic envelope, no question. And you may be endowed with certain gifts and qualities, but I guarantee you that many successful people wish they had qualities that you have, because no one's perfect in this world. Everyone is imperfect, right? But you can't be on this quest to be perfect. You are imperfect, so the quest is not to be perfect. You will never get there. If that's your goal, you will fail in that goal. The quest is to be the best you. And the only way to be the best you is to break through your fears. Because that is the brick wall to your comfort zone. And if you break down that brick wall, that comfort zone just expands. Expands. And it knows no bounds. So literally everything on this planet could be within your comfort if you choose to break down those walls.
Don't really want to get up and get out of bed? Yeah, I get up and get out of bed. I don't really want to work out? I work out. I really don't want to hammer on a project? I hammer on the project. Now, as an overall rule, I do not like procrastination. You need to get things done. But if you are going to rest, that is one thing that you should procrastinate on. That's the one thing I want you to put off until tomorrow. Now, these could be signals that you need some time off. And those signals might be right. They could be correct. But don't take today off. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear. Shut that down. Do not listen to that little voice. Instead, go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, work on the project, get out of bed.
If you only have 24 hours in a day, your success is dependent upon how you use the 24. You gotta hear me. People talk about Oprah Winfrey, Ted Turner, Warren Buffett. Listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. You only get 24 hours in a day. And the difference between Oprah and the person that's broke is Oprah uses her 24 hours wisely. That's it. Listen to me. That's it. You get 24. I don't care if you broke, you grew up broke. I don't care if you grew up rich. I don't care if you're in college, you're not in college. You only get 24 hours. And I blew up literally. I went from being a high school dropout to selling 6,000 books in less than 6 months. What happened? My 24 hours. I was like, okay, Eric, you got to get a grip on your 24 hours because you're about to be broke for the rest of your life. And that's all I need you to do for me. I can tell you all about your life if you just write down your 24-hour schedule for me and you let me look at it. I can tell you where you're going to be in 5 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 10 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 20 years if you keep that schedule.
I had a teacher in 8th grade. 8th grade tell me I wasn't going to make it in high school. 8th grade, I had a teacher telling me that foolishness. And what did I do? I proved them right. I went to high school wilding out. 9th grade year, wild out so bad, that school kicked me out. They was like, we can't even take this no more. Kick you out. Go to another school. I completely flunked that. Go to a 3rd school and finally begin to get my act together. I'm proving everybody who did not believe in me right, and the few people who did believe in me, I'm proving them wrong. Again, we're dealing with, it matters of the heart now. A lot of times we behave in the way we behave because we don't feel like we got worth or value. We don't really recognize the heritage of who we are and what we can do. So we just on that, I'm just gonna do whatever and get a couple laughs. But when you recognize how great you are, when you recognize that champion that's inside you, you'll say, you know what, I got more to give. There's more to life than this right here. I deserve better, you deserve better. And then you'll say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna prove everybody who didn't believe in me wrong. And the few people who do believe in me, I'm gonna prove them right. And when you do that, everything inside your life changes. I just start saying, before I make decisions, I just start saying, okay, is this gonna make my mama proud? Or all the people that's hating on me, is this gonna make them say, see, I told you. I'm in India speaking. I found out the culture in India, there in Bangalore where I was, has the highest suicide rate. Because if these kids do not do well in high school, they know they won't go to college, and they know for the rest of their lives they'll end up in poverty, and they said, I'd rather die than be in poverty. That's what you call desperation. But you gonna settle for whatever the world gives you? You gonna settle for living how your mom and dad live now? I'm telling y'all, my young friends, you ain't gotta settle for that.
You're here right now at this moment because tomorrow you want to be somebody greater than the person you are today. You see yourself succeeding, you have a vision, you have a dream. Congratulations. You're already 10 steps ahead of 95% of the world. Imagine if Michael Jordan was scared of missing. He would have never taken a shot. Imagine if Steve Jobs was afraid of people not liking his product. There would be no iPhone. So ask yourself this. Do you want to be a person who fears failure, or do you want to be a person who loves success? Which one? Because you're going to have to pick today. And I'll tell you one thing. One is a failure and one is a success. And if you love success, there is nothing that can stop you. All those negative things people say will mean nothing. They're going to talk about how only 1% make it to the top. Big deal. Want to know something else? Only 1% stick with that fitness program long enough to see results. Only 1% of nerds stick with that video game long enough to get good at it. Only 1% of relationships stick it out to the end. That doesn't mean you have a 1% chance. It just means you can't behave like the 99%. You'll have to do something better than giving up a month from now. Those are just numbers. You want to talk about numbers? Take a look around you and take a good look around you. Are you like 99% of the people around you? If you are, then you're in the wrong video, my friend. You have to love success just as much because that's what's gonna allow you to get up and go for it. Being scared to fail won't do anything. In fact, when you love success and you start going for it, guess what happens? You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail 10 times, 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times. But that's okay. Failure isn't permanent. Falling isn't permanent. You get right back up and keep going. And this time, you're gonna be stronger, wiser, and you'll be more driven than ever. And for every 10 failures, you'll land one success. You have to love success so much that you're willing to fail 10 times before you can succeed once. That's how a winner does it. I want to explain the biggest myth that most people think leads them to success. And here's the myth. You might believe if you're scared to fail, you won't fail. Lies. Biggest myth ever. And I believed it. You see, I always thought that being scared to fail in life would literally keep me from failing. I would look at the losers around me and I would say, sheesh, I never want to turn out like him. I really believed this train of thought would help me succeed. Until one day, I was walking down the street and I saw an old man. Had a hat, suspenders, and a cane. Was about 80 years old. This old man was barely walking. He could walk, but the cane helped a lot. He was struggling. So anyway, he was walking across the street and he ended up falling. So I went over to go help him. And he gets up, says thank you, and we introduced ourselves. Had a little conversation. Told me his name and I told him mine. His name was Robert, by the way. And right as he walked away, I told him, this is what I said. Robert, you should stay inside where it's safe, my friend. And Robert turns around and says to me, I love walking. And I love walking way more than I'm afraid of falling. So I asked him, well, what about your safety? Don't you want to live? And he told me this. These are the exact words he said. He said this. Solo, living means doing what you love to do. And if I have to fall here and there to do what I want to do in life, then so be it. And he just walked away. Never saw him again. That was it. But that statement really had me thinking, and it had me thinking hard because I learned something that day. That's when I realized the true key to success. You see, I always thought if I could just fear the act of failing, and if I fear it like crazy, I will succeed. Because I thought the fear would magically motivate me to get out there and start taking action. But after that day, I realized something. I realized it's the love for success that will lead me to succeeding. So just imagine if Robert feared falling. Would he even start walking? Of course not. He wouldn't even do what he loved to do. He would sit at home and take no type of action. But he loved walking. Wasn't even scared to fall. It gave him life. That's what allowed him to get up and do it. He loved walking so much, he was willing to fall 10 times a day just to do it. And you have to be the same. So the next time someone tells you, you're gonna fail, you know what you tell them? Tell them they're right. But you're not afraid to fail. You're not afraid to take action. You're not afraid to jump. You're gonna fail 10 times, but you know what? It's cool. Because on the 11th time, you'll succeed. Oh, you'll succeed, all right. and it'll feel good. And while you're over here living the life of your dreams and complete happiness, guess where they're gonna be? That's right. They'll be failures, the real failures, over there where it's safe, scared to fail. Ironic, isn't it?
No matter what type of circumstances that you have been raised in or have experienced, you always have the ability to find a way out and create success for yourself. And I had to do that in my own life. I'd see all the college students go towards the campus, and I thought to myself, where are they going? What are they doing? Why do they look different than the rest of the people that are in the group? And that always kept in the back of my head. And our mother said, whatever you do, in order to change your circumstance, you're gonna have to get an education. And so I kept that in the back of my head. No matter what, I had to educate myself. I had to get a degree. The people that I saw going to the school down the street, that's something I could do. And I had that vision. I would go to this school that was like in a predominantly well-off area, and everyone had books and paper and really nice shoes. And I remember looking at this thinking, oh, I don't have any of that. And every time I would come back into my neighborhood, I would see the graffiti and I'd see the trash, and I thought to myself, what makes a difference? Why are there people here in this situation versus here in this situation? And every single day I would come back, and it came down to this. It was the thinking, how we think, how we look at situations, whether or not we see ourselves doing well and being successful, or versus if we see ourselves as a not successful person in an environment. Our thinking defines our life. And when we can take hold of our thought and see it for what it is and change it and transform it and change it to convert it into an energy that unleashes a brain power that allows us to change a situation, that, my friend, is how we change our lives, and that's how we change everyone else's. What happened was I was failing algebra. I failed algebra, I failed geometry, I failed calculus and chemistry. And there was this calculus teacher that said, all right, I'm gonna offer calculus tutoring for anyone who's willing to come to the campus during the winter break. And I thought everyone was gonna show up. There was only myself. Wow. And I thought to myself, this is such a blessing. And I sat there and I picked his brain. I'm like, how do I look? What does an integral mean? What does the tangent mean? What does the instantaneous rate mean? And these are all words for derivative in calculus. And I got a chance to sit down with them. And that was the first time ever that I realized I was smart. And when I sat with him, it was amazing because I realized what was stopping me was my own fear. It wasn't anything with my educational aspect. It was me thinking I couldn't do well in mathematics. And when I learned to remove that fear and think, I'm gonna do this no matter what's gonna happen. I may fail it, I may not fail it. I'm gonna do well at this, and I'm gonna just see where it goes. I'm gonna put my all into it. We'll find out. And I put my all into it, and I failed. But it's something inside of me shifted. I realized, hey, failing wasn't that bad. If I can like spend a little bit more time at it, I can actually do really well at this. And that was the shift in thinking. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna spend some more time in it, and I'm gonna actually get this. When I overcome my own fear, it was when I was working with someone else and recognizing that the person next to me was the exact mirror of myself. And as I could help that person right next to me, I was helping myself at the same time. And it became this teamwork. Every single person on the campus needed mathematics. And so I got a chance to know everybody on the campus and became one of the most popular people because everyone needed mathematics. And that confidence that was built from taking something that I failed at before and shifting my thinking about it and embracing it to actually create a new reality for myself, that's what empowered me. And that's what allowed me to graduate top of my class, which later on opened up the door to launch rockets.
As Theodore Vail noted, real difficulties can be overcome. It's only the imaginary ones that are uncomfortable. The reason that I love that is because it is a powerful reminder. At the end of the day, you're choosing what to believe. At the end of the day, all those things in your head that seem like you could never get over them, you've made them up. You've decided to obsessively focus on those things. And as Oprah said, what we dwell on is who we become. And think about that for a second. Think about today. Just audit your thoughts. What did you spend your time thinking on? Did you obsessively think about the way that things could go right? Or did you obsessively think about the things that could go wrong? All the myriad ways that you need to protect yourself. And that's how it feels. In the moment, you think, I'm just planning for the worst case scenario. I'm thinking through all the ways that something could go wrong so that I can be prepared for it, not understanding that what you're doing is focusing on all the ways that it could go wrong. They're imagined futures. They are not real. And in that, like a race car driver goes where the eyes go, you will go where your thoughts go. You will become your thoughts. So instead of boxing yourself in and thinking only about all the different ways that something could be bad, could break, could fall to pieces, think about all the things that you could do if you take the action, all the myriad ways that things could come to your aid and work out for the better. Obsessively think on that and let failure be a total surprise. In that, you will take the actions that you need to be successful. But first, you've got to train yourself to obsess over all the ways your life could go right. From there, you'll act.
There's no other way around it. If success is the result that you are ultimately seeking, you must be obsessed with the process. You have no time to let fear, doubt, failure, quit, negative thoughts, or give up enter into your mental. See, you have massive potential. So from the moment you open your eyes in the morning, your mindset has to be win. Meaning winning that particular morning and carrying that winner's mentality with you as you enter your classroom. So what the person to the left of you is pessimistic? So what the person to the right of you is zoned out? You, yes you, can only be concerned with staying locked in because you refuse to let the aura of your classmates or classroom enter into your mental space. See, this race is won by the one that can distance him or herself from the rest of the pack. And those are facts. So I need you to realize that there will be bad days. There will be times that you feel like you have no earthly idea what your teacher or professor is talking about. But what you will never ever do is throw a pity party. What you will never ever do is tap out. What you will never ever do is concede and throw in the towel. What you will do is knock on his or her door and say, listen, I only have one option, and that is success in your class. But right now, I'm confused about the lesson you taught today, and I need clarity, and I need it now. I guarantee, if you are passionate about wanting to achieve success in that class, he or she will bend over backwards to help you. But if you settle for mediocrity and never say anything, you are setting yourself up to fail. And failure, my friend, is not in your DNA. I promise. You're not the first person to question whether or not they have what it takes to achieve at a high level. I promise. You're not the first person to feel like they are underperforming. I promise. You are not the first person to feel like their brain is about to explode. Listen to me. Those that can push through no matter what storms arise are in the small minority, that small percentile of those that ultimately break through and make their goals and dreams a reality. So the reality is this. You were born with everything you need to pass every class with flying colors. You were born with everything you need to overcome the anxiety that may pop up from time to time on a mission to derail your lifelong hopes, dreams, and aspirations. See, my favorite acronym is HWPO. And just in case you forget, or just in case you don't know, that means hard work pays off. So winners like us never lose focus. And we're horrified and petrified whenever someone tries to tell us to take the easy route. Because we already know there is no easy route. Because if it were easy, everyone would do it. So we avoid that ignorance and get back to our grind of studying harder than we've ever studied before, because we understand that you get out of it what you put into it. So we pour our heart and soul into our homework. We pour our heart and soul into studying for exams. That way we sleep like a baby, because we know in our heart of hearts that we have put every ounce of our being into our work, and therefore success is a foregone conclusion. All of the hard work, after all of the studying, after all of the blood, sweat, and tears, you still fail. I need you to really hear. And never forget this. You never fail, you never lose, you only learn. See, life will knock the mess out of you when you least expect it. It's part of the process. See, that's when you have to tell yourself, because of this setback, I'm strong. Because of this setback, I'm wiser. Because of this setback, I'm smarter. And because of this setback, I'm hungrier than ever. So I say all of this as a friendly reminder. Got this. You were born to be spectacular. So I need you to jump over the obstacles. I need you to go around the pitfalls, and I need you to push through the adversity, because that dormant volcano of success that's living inside of you is just waiting for you to grant permission for it to erupt. Trust the process. Don't rush the process. If you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. My issue with you is that you keep letting that profound statement go in one ear and right out the other. And since that's the case, I need you to put a finger in one ear as you listening to this. That way, you can capture every word that I'm saying. So you keep letting self-doubt enter into your mental. I'm telling you right now to your face, stop it, stop it, stop it. You were born to be spectacular. You were born to be phenomenal. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are breathtaking. You are a work of art, a masterpiece. I have faith in you. I believe in you. We have faith in you. We believe in you. Now I just need you to have faith in yourself. I need you to believe in yourself. I get it. I get it. You're not quite where you want to be at as it relates to a certain class. So what? Now what? I'll tell you now what. Now it's time for you to dig deeper. It's time for you to ask more questions, spend more time and study hard. Create a winning circle of people that are succeeding in the class that you're struggling in, and stick to them like glue. Because what will not happen is quit. What will not happen is failure. What will not happen is you dropping out. What will happen is you're going to do everything that you can in your power to make sure that you are making it through this class. You're going to do everything in your power to make sure that you're making it through this tough situation, because winners win. I keep telling y'all, winners like us only have two options in any scenario. We either win or we learn. Therefore, if you get a bad grade on a test, if you get a bad grade on an essay, if you get a bad grade on a research paper, if you get a bad grade for a semester, you never look at that as a failure or a loss. You look at it as an opportunity to learn. You look at it as an opportunity to grow, and you take a short period. You got to take a short period to release it, to let it go, to blow the steam off. And then you get excited, and I mean super excited, about taking what you learned, applying it, and seeing a success that is undoubtedly headed your way. Lock in with me. The choice to succeed is as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. And right now, I need you to listen, because we are going to go from A to Z. And I dare you, yes you, to make a choice and choose to change average into amazing, broken into booming, confusion into clarity, desperation into domination, endangered into exceptional, failure into first class, give up into go-getter, hopeless into hungry. Nah, I gotta say it like Les Brown. You gotta be hungry. And what that means is your classroom has to be like your favorite place to eat. You gotta eat it, you gotta drink it, you gotta see the success, you gotta live the success, you gotta breathe the success, and you got this. And that's why you made the decision to change introverted into influence, jacked up into jaw-dropping, knocked out into knowledge of self, last place into the leader of the pack, minor into major, no chance into next level, out of touch into outstanding. This is just a reminder of how powerful words can be as it relates to our mindset. So I need you to kill that negativity and speak that positivity into existence, because those that can weather the storm, those that can fight through the adversity, those that can push through the problems are putting themselves in a position to prosper. And winners like you understand. And that's why you chose to turn pain into passion, power and purpose, quitter's mentality into quality lifestyle, regret into redemption, sadness into superstar status, terrible into terrific, unlikely into upward bound, vindictive into victory, weakness into winning formula, X'd out into extraordinary. I know, they start with E, but they're pronounced with an X, so we gon' make it work. Yearning into yes, you can. And finally, from zero into ginormous. And that's how you go to the next level and win, not only in the classroom, but in every aspect of your life.